Welcome to the Kidlit Club with Sally Rippon and Adrian Beck.
Yes, that's us. Welcome to the Kidlit Club. Welcome to the Kidlit Club, Sally Rippon.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
It is exciting. This is sort of like our little vodcast, sort of a podcast / video type thing that we're doing. And we are pretty excited about it, just for the Kidlit Club. And we're going to be meeting a whole bunch of Kidlit people, authors, publishers, readers, teachers.
Yep, people in the industry. People that we're interested to find out more about.
Yeah.
And maybe if you've got some ideas of people you'd like to hear from, we can see if we can
let us know.
Hook up with them, because this is a great opportunity to find out a bit more about what other people do, how they do it, why they're into children's books.
Yep.
Why are you into kids' books?
Why am I into kids' books? What a good question. Well, I'm going to ask you in a second, Sal. So
I got in before you.
I'm into kids' books because I think there's a little bit of Peter Pan about me, and I never really grew up. I got to about 10 years of age, and then sort of adulthood sort of happened soon after, and it's always puzzled me, adulthood. And I guess I'm in Kidlit because I like kids' stories, and that's sort of my inner age is about 10, a ratty 10-year-old boy. What about you? Are you a ratty 10-year-old girl?
I think for me, it's the imagination, because when I was growing up, I don't think I was particularly wayward or ratty, but I had a really, really deep imagination, to the point that it would just interfere with my daily life. Like, I remember if they would put me on the baseball team as a fielder, the balls would go straight over my head, because I'd be lost in my land of imagination, or in the classroom I'd be looking out the window. So I think for me, it's just an excuse to be able to stay in my imagination for a long time, and even more so than I think writing for adults, because kids are often in and out of that world all the time.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I like about it.
As it says on your Twitter, you're a professional daydreamer. Is that right? No, Insta.
I know, I'm not Twitter. I did have a Twitter account, but I didn't set it up, and it was really weird.
Tag you in that account.
I know.
And I went to it once, and there's a lot of stuff about cows.
I know, and something about
the beef industry or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
Anyway,
that is not Sally.
I've taken it down.
Okay, great. On today's show, we're going to be talking to Kane, who of course is dominating at the moment with the Ginger Green series.
So much fun.
And that's awesome, so we can't wait to talk to her. And we're also going to talk to Kristin Gill from Penguin Random House.
Yeah, Kristin's a really interesting woman. She juggles a lot of things at the same time, and I've been really keen to chat with her a little bit more.
Yes, and she's not actually a professional juggler, that was a metaphor, because she's actually going to be talking to us about the Create initiative, which is part of the Indigenous Literacy Foundation programs, and they've done something amazing late last year, so we want to hear all about that too. So, maybe we should jump straight into Kristin Gill.
Yep.
So it's time for this.
The Good Books.
Yes, the good books. This is our segment where we like to highlight those that are in the book industry that are doing good things for the world.
Yeah, and there are a lot of them, and they're not always the people who are in the forefront, like Adrian and I, who are happy to sit in front of a camera, happy to put our name on a book. But there's a lot of people who work behind the scenes who do really good work in making sure that there are a lot of charities that are looked after, or money going to the right people. We happen to be involved in a really great charity.
We are, Demick's Children's Charities, which we love. They do great work. But also another charity that does great work is, of course, the Indigenous Literacy Foundation. And as we promised before, we're chatting with Kristin Gill. In fact, Sally went all the way to Castlemaine just to catch up with Kristin Gill.
Well, not especially. I've got a little place out there, and we bump into each other down the main street, so it was a good excuse to catch up.
I'd like to make it sound like you went the extra mile.
Roving reporter,
That's right.
Sally Rippon.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, she bumped into Kristin Gill, and Kristin told you all about the Create initiative.
Yeah, which is really amazing, and just so exciting to know there are people doing good work out there.
Here it is.
How long have you been involved in the ILF?
I have been involved with the ILF now for probably 12 years or more. When it first began as a partnership with the Fred Hollows Foundation and as the Indigenous Literacy Project, and then as it became a foundation and it became the Indigenous Literacy Foundation, I became more involved and sat on the board for 4 years, and now I work with them as their ambassador manager, working with them to make sure that the ambassadors feel comfortable with what they do and that we're making the most of the opportunities that we have with some very high profile and active ambassadors. Mostly it is about putting books into communities. Mostly it is about I think last year there was over 230 communities that received books, over 88,000 books sent, and that is their kind of primary activity that is far-reaching in terms of providing books for kids in communities. But they also understand that there are stories to be told from within those communities. So their community publishing projects are very important, and they are happening in the community, in the various communities, with the help of elders in the community, the kids in the communities, and some of our ambassadors like Anne James going out into community, Alison Lester doing the same thing, Jane Godwin. There are people out there who are writers and assisting those, helping make those stories actually be recorded for a very long time. That's really important.
There was a very big project last year that culminated in some Indigenous students coming to Melbourne to launch. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
That's a really great project. It's one that is done in partnership with Tiwi College, and a group of girls from Tiwi College come to Melbourne or Sydney every year to work with two of our ambassadors and a publishing and editorial team in a publishing house. The last 2 years that has happened with Penguin Random House, so it's been a lovely experience for us, a beautiful experience for us actually, because the girls spend time in a big city, they go to the AFL football matches, they go to Bondi, they do all the things that they would never otherwise do, but have a real passion for. But in the middle of all that, they work really hard, and in 4 days, a story is written, illustrated, and printed. And on the 5th day, it's launched. Publishing houses should take note. It doesn't always take 3 months. It's a really exciting project. Last year, David Lawrence and Shelley Ware, two of our wonderful ambassadors, helped, and they did it the year before actually too, helped the girls create their story. And Japedica was written, and the follow-up was written last year. Team of editors, in particular an editor called Jess Owen and our publishing director Laura Harris, work with those girls for the week, provide the snacks, provide the outings, provide the editorial advice. But Shelley and David work really hard with them all week to make sure those stories are the best they can do.
And where can we get a copy of this book?
You can buy a copy of the book through Penguin Random House, or you can buy it through the ILF. All of the publishing that the ILF do is available through their website.
And what are your hopes for the future for the ILF, and potentially how that may have impacted on a lot of children's lives?
I just firmly believe that every child in this country deserves access to beautiful books. We take it for granted a little bit, and we know that it changes lives. It literacy and education gives young people choices, and that's what we want for kids. We want them to have the choice. They don't need to go to university or leave their community if they don't want to, but at least give them the choice. And if they do want that, then they should be able to do that. And they should be able to do that because they have all the skills. They're fully equipped to be able to do it, and to get on with their lives just like our kids do.
Well, that was great. What a fantastic program, Sal.
Yeah, I think you've got some news about Penguin Random House too.
Absolutely, yes. Kristin herself was involved in this very charitable donation to the Indigenous Literacy Foundation. You can see it there.
Yeah.
$100,000 was donated to ILF from Penguin Random House. So that is fantastic, and well done to all involved, because that money goes to such a great cause.
It does, yeah, and it's really doing good work. And there are some of the ambassadors that go into really remote communities and work with kids. I know Andy Griffiths is a great ambassador for the ILF. Hopefully we'll get him into the Kidlit studio sometime.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, now it's time. Oh, I'm excited about this. It's time for this.
Social Media Watch.
Yes, a bit of social media watch in the publishing Kidlit world, and I want to take, on this social media watch, I want to take you all the way back to July and August 2018. Not that far back, but a little bit back.
Yeah.
Where the fabulous illustrator of Weirdo, You've met him many times. Sal.
Yes, he is
the
amazing.
lovely Jules Faber.
Yep.
Let's not say, let's not go overboard. He's good. No, he's great. He's a great guy. Good friend of ours. And he started a Twitter story. And I have an impassioned plea to the person who got to the end of this Twitter story and got tagged and didn't continue it.
Oh, okay. So
It's controversial.
It's good that you're following Twitter, because Twitter is not my thing. I do Facebook and Instagram, so I only hear about this stuff through other people. So tell me, what's it about?
So basically the idea was Jules wanted everyone to write a few sentences in this ongoing story, and then you tag the next person.
Great.
So I'm just going to read the start with some names that you might recognise, and then there's about 20 or 30 people involved in this, and then it got to someone.
Yep.
And they haven't picked up the slack. Okay.
Okay, so this is a shout out.
This is a friendly shout out
to go and
to perhaps get on Twitter.
Harass that person.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so here is the idea. So Jules started with this. Ever since I was little, I've been forgetful. I never thought much about it because usually the things I left behind eventually and mysteriously showed up again somehow. Then he tagged me, and I said, but I never thought I'd forget my own nose. However, last Tuesday it jumped right off my face. It mentioned something about fulfilling its true destiny, and I accidentally left it behind in the frozen food section.
So just opening up the story is something really easy for someone go on with.
I tagged Tristan.
Of course.
Tristan says, a snot-nosed kid at the cash register pointed and called me Voldemort, but I didn't twig that she was referring to my noselessness. I was in the car on the way home when I went to pick my nose, a vulgar yet comforting habit, that I realised it was gone. And he tagged Matt Cosgrove. Matt says, who knows where my nose is by now, I huffed. I would have sniffed, but have you ever tried sniffing without a nose?
Ugh.
Back home I tried some alternatives. A carrot, a banana, a pencil, a thong, a tomato sauce bottle, even a spare eyeball. But nothing was quite right. He tagged Tim Harris. We're getting to the end of the first part.
I'm liking this.
That night I had the most insightful realisation. If none of the replacements satisfactorily filled the gap on my face, perhaps I'd be best off without a nose at all. I could launch into a career in sewage. Or maybe boxing, or better still, he tagged James Foley. James Foley says, being a Michael Jackson impersonator.
Ouch.
But alas, none of those careers would ever fill the hole in my face. Where my nose should have been. It's not funny, I thought. I need my nose. So I sprinted back to Woolies' frozen food aisle. When I got there, Deborah Abella. Disaster struck. I couldn't find my nose. No matter how many packets of peas or tubs of ice cream I pushed aside, it simply wasn't there until I saw it. Luckily, noses can't run very fast, except in winter, so it could only inch its way towards the exit.
That was good.
And she tagged Ben Wood, illustrator. And then it went on and on and on and on. We had Jacqueline Harvey was involved, Felice Arena, Tony Wilson, Kim Kane, Andrew McDonald, a whole bunch of kid-lit folk.
This makes me want to be on Twitter. I'm missing out.
You would have had a great fun with the nose story.
I know.
And it got to one kid-lit identity and it stopped.
Oh, are we supposed to guess who it is?
Do you want to have a guess?
Do you want me to give you a clue? Because I'm thinking it's who you asked me to help you pronounce her name just before. Do you want to know a fun fact?
Please.
This person used to babysit me when I lived in Darwin as a
Really?
baby. Yeah.
Really?
There you go. It's all full of surprises on the Kidlit Show.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this
That
author
is our
that's
connection.
letting us down
I know.
used to babysit you.
Yep.
Do you have any sort of memories of that time?
No. I hope she does. I think she was only a teenager.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she would have been.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
would have been 9 or 10. Okay.
Months.
Now this person, and it's a shout out, it's a friendly shout out, it's a friendly reminder to continue the thread.
Because she is wonderful and she's super funny. So
Yes.
please do it.
And it is,
Suzanne Gervais.
that's it. So please, Suzanne,
if
you
you're out
could,
there,
check Twitter, continue the story. We wanted to
Yeah.
go forever and ever and get
Yeah.
everyone involved.
tell us what happened to that nose. We're busting to know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. It's time for...
Our special guest.
And there is no specialer guest than the lady we're going to speak to today.
Yeah,
she's behind Ginger Green, amongst many things.
Yep. There's a couple of series of Ginger Greens and she's done some beautiful picture books too, but these ones are really special. They're really fun.
Yeah, she's got the younger Ginger Greens, Ginger
Yep.
Green Playdate Queen, and
Yep.
she's moved on to Ginger Green, which is a little bit for kids that are a little bit older.
Yeah.
And we had a good chat with Kim Kane. Well, I had a good chat with Kim Kane.
Yep.
Sal's on the beach somewhere, probably.
I wish.
There she is. Kim, Kane, thank you so much for joining us in the heart of Melbourne, the windswept
Hi,
Melbourne.
Adrian. How are you?
I'm good. And now, you are our very first author guest on the Kid Lit Club vodcast. So, as a special gift, Sally's got me to bring you something. It is Billy Bean Brown baked beans. Okay, that's the next step in Sally's world domination with the Billy B. Brown
That
merchandise.
is very clever.
So, that's just a little gift from her to you.
Heinz should take note.
I think it's probably a collaboration.
And
I don't
I
think
should-
Sally makes the beans herself. I'm not sure.
I love baked beans.
Good, there you go.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a special gift. Anyway, we're here
Dinner
to talk
tonight.
about
Dinner tonight.
We're here to talk about you, but also, of course, Ginger Green, the wonderful Ginger Green series. There's two versions of the series. The one Playdate Queen for youngsters,
Yep.
young kids, and then these are the more recent ones, aren't they? They're slightly older.
Yeah, this one is not actually out. It's about to come out this month.
It's about to come out. This is an advanced copy. As this goes online, we are seeing a special advanced copy. This is Cousins Total Chaos. Ginger Green plus Cousins equals Total Chaos. And what I love about Cousins is that kids see them as rock stars. My girls, whenever they see their cousins, they're like,
adore
wow, cousins, wow.
They adore their cousins, and it is always chaos when our cousins come over.
Yeah.
So my children have German cousins who are living in America.
Oh, the German living in America,
Yeah.
and they came to Australia.
And they have come to Australia, but they're actually a bit younger. So that's where Penny comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Penny is Ginger's younger sister, and she's always nude. And because of the Germans in our family, like they're always nude, right? Like, and my children are just
Why
shocked.
not?
Like they were shocked by this. We had our German cousins out, and they're like, "Mum,
They're nude."
Normie's in the park and he's nude." They're just horrified. So I thought, well, that's going in. That's Penny.
And how old is- how old
At this
is
stage,
the
that's sort of
nude?
6-year-olds. Three.
Three,
And at this
okay.
stage, that they were
than
my own
baby
children,
three.
sort of 6. That's right.
Yeah.
Freie Körperkultur. FKK is the free body culture that emerged in Germany in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these books are so deep. Aren't they?
So if you like nudity, if you like foxes in the nude, then
You're
Ginger Green is for you. So your kids, you've got two twins.
I've got twins
Two
who are 10, yeah.
Twins. Two twins would be a lot.
Twins who are 10.
And they're singers, aren't they?
They are singers.
Yeah.
They they like to think they're singers. They're both with the Australian Boys Choir.
Wow.
One's in the performing choir and one's almost there.
I might have crossed paths with them because I worked on Carols by Candlelight for many years. So I might
there you
have
go.
actually.
Yeah, so we didn't. I don't think the Australian Boys. I think it's a national boys choir that does Carols by
right.
Candlelight now.
Rivals. That's awkward.
No, not at all. We're all. The choral community is an embracing community.
Just like the writing community.
That's
so
right.
I want to take you way back, Kim, because now you're a Ginger Green superstar, but you started off as a lawyer, and I like to think you were in the middle of the court and you were going to go, I object, but in the middle of that you change what you're going to say and you say, I want to write kids' books, and you ran out of the court and you started writing kids' books. Is that roughly how
I
it
wish
went?
it was that traumatic.
No.
I
Surprised it wasn't that dramatic.
I got a number of parking fines.
Oh yes.
I'd moved house and I got a fine every day while I was waiting for the permit to come through.
Right.
Yeah, you know how they do that?
Yeah, that's.
And then I was fighting those. This was a full-time job almost, fighting the fines. And then I turned up to the court to fight them, and they itemised each fine separately. So I took up three billboards, Kimberly F. Kane v. City of Port Phillip. And I thought I can never practice in this town again.
Really? And so you gave it up?
Gave it up.
Too many parking fines. Speaking of which, I don't know where you parked this morning. I mean,
I was on PT.
you'd be a bit of trouble if you park around here, I think.
I've learned.
You've learnt your lesson.
No,
So-
I worked
so what made
part-time
you
as
get
a
into it?
lawyer. So part-time as a lawyer and
Yeah.
part-time as a writer. I was a very unhappy lawyer
Right.
and probably not a very good lawyer.
Right.
But I did enjoy writing.
Yes.
And I loved the law firm. I loved the clothes,
Yep.
the coffee, the colleagues,
Yeah.
the jog at lunchtime.
Yes.
I loved everything about the law except actually the law. So,
That's.
and I think the law hasn't missed me, Adrian.
Sort of-
Sort of
I
sweated-
believe the law is sort of part of it too, so that would have been difficult.
The law, yeah, no, it's a big part of it. Yeah. No, I sweated out my statute of limitations period.
Were
Been out
you-
for a while now.
Oh, that's good. So anything you say can't be held against you. But when were you writing when you were practicing law?
Yeah, no,
or-
I was.
Yeah.
I wrote my first sort of story at the end of university,
Okay.
and I wrote it for a friend who was very sick, and it just came out, and I just didn't. I mean, it was sort of effortless, and I just did this thing, and I enjoyed doing it, and it brought me great joy. And then I set out when she died sort of tragically, and I thought it would be lovely to have a memento for her, and I set out trying to get it published. And by this stage, I thought it was just a matter of just shooting out a manuscript, and you know, you'd get 10 offers and you'd make your choice.
Wouldn't that be nice?
You'd say, I'd like Quentin Blake as an illustrator, and it was all going to be very easy.
Yep.
But actually it took about a year for the rejections to start rolling in.
Right.
But a couple of publishers actually wrote back and said, not quite right for us, doesn't have the look or feel of a picture book, but why don't you write for the Bites and Nibbles series? Well, one of the publishers did.
So the Penguin series.
And I thought,
it's a great
I
series,
read them
actually.
all. It's a great series.
Yeah.
But I was coming at it having never read any children's literature since I was a young adult.
Yeah.
And so I sort of thought, no, it's not quite what I wanted to do. I mean, Tim Winton, everyone's written for that series. Sophie Laguna.
I know. There's some huge names.
I mean, really, it was ridiculous. It would have been,
it's incredible.
Ursula Dubsavsky. Yeah, it was stupid. But when I was then miserable and trying to work out what I could do, I thought, well, maybe writing is something, and writing for children is something I could do. Yeah. So I went to the RMIT course.
Oh, yes.
With Claire Renner,
so many people do
that course, No, I was really fortunate.
Yep.
And that sort of gave me the confidence to then have a shot.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you won a lot of awards early on, CBCA stuff and speech pathology awards and all that sort of stuff. It was amazing. I mean, it's probably not as good as your baked chili bean brown, but it's still pretty impressive. So you hit the market with a splash.
Yes. Yes.
It feels like you haven't reflected on it.
Sank to the bottom. No, I just think it's sort of funny because you don't. I mean, when you start out, you don't have any idea what any of these things mean.
Right.
So it's almost a pity to get things at the beginning of your career. It would be better to get things at, you know, as your career is rolling when you suddenly understand.
Yeah.
But I think you have so little control over awards, and sometimes it can be frustrating when you feel like your very best work isn't recognised.
Yeah.
So it's a funny thing. So I now just try and sort of step back and
let it all happen.
And what I love is when people I respect, writers I really respect, say to me, "Gee, I love that. I thought that was your best thing."
Yeah.
Or I was really moved by that, or
Yeah.
I think that works really well. That now means more than anything, really.
Yeah. Right. What was that first book? It was a picture book, wasn't it? What was the name of it?
The Family Forest.
Family Forest, and it's been re-released recently too.
Yeah, so that's just kept rolling, that one, which has been lovely.
Yeah.
I always say that a picture book's a bit like a play.
Yeah.
Like you actually might only contribute one component, but if everyone else, you have strong direction and everyone else is contributing, when it works, it really is a magnificent thing.
Absolutely. And now Ginger Green. So I struggle with. My kids love Bluey on the ABC.
Yes.
They used to love Pepper, and they read a lot of Spot books, all that sort of thing. So I struggle with this word. Anthropomorphized.
Yeah.
Let's just say animals that act like humans. What was the thinking initially behind Ginger Green? Obviously, Ginger Green is a fox, and all Ginger's friends are animals. And so, what was the thinking behind that?
The thinking behind that. So Ginger Green started out as a little girl.
Yes.
Children and I adore animals. I have a cavoodle puppy, and I adore my cavoodle puppy.
Cavoodles, they're great because they don't shed.
Very sweet. They don't shed, and we're all asthmatics.
Are they?
Yeah, well, we're asthmatics, so the dog doesn't shed. So
you're asthmatic.
No, the dog's not an asthmatic. I was thinking, no, I'm sure she's not the asthmatic. She's the only non-asthmatic in the house.
Right.
So an animal seemed like a fun idea, and I did love Bread and Jam for Francis as a child.
Yep.
And Wind in the Willows.
Oh, of course.
And a lot of books where there was nothing very animally about the animals. It was actually almost irrelevant that they were animals. Yep. They were the ones that appealed to me.
Yeah.
So, and then the publisher was very pro the idea because she felt that it would really distinguish it from a lot of the other girl books that were emerging.
Yes.
So that was the sort of thinking about it. What sort of animal we went for, or whether we went for a whole cast of different animals like Peppa Pig.
Yes.
we decided, I like the idea of a fox
Yes.
because we live in St Kilda
Yes.
and we've had foxes
At foxes.
attend our street party.
Really?
And and I just you see foxes on the roof of suburban houses in Melbourne,
Yep.
and there was even one recently in the picture gallery in London. And I think you think, well, if you can see a fox at a street party and a fox in a picture gallery,
Yeah.
it's actually not such a far stretch to imagine a fox on playdates. So
That's true. It's
that's
the
where
next
it came
logical
from.
progression.
Next step,
Absolutely.
yeah. Do something different.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's absolutely.
So Ginger
something
was
different.
born.
Ginger was born. Now, that's my next question. Ginger, are you a massive Ginger fan? Because
I love ginger.
I happen
Oh my
to
gosh,
have-
I love ginger.
I happen to have from Harrods
Oh.
some ginger jam. I thought we could share.
Yum. Is that why you have? I was looking at
Well, I
your
have
toast.
toast. You're thinking,
I was feeling so sad for
What
you.
is this guy with some just
Well,
random toast on this plate here?
I thought you were maybe on some
I
sort
thought
of.
some sort of
diet.
strange,
Yeah, it was
strange
odd.
diet. Look, it's
I love ginger jam.
looking. I'm not sure if that's how it's meant to look, Kim, but that's how it looks today. So we'll go with that.
No, I adore ginger.
You do?
Yeah, love ginger.
So was Ginger the name you had from the word go?
No, we had Octavia
Octavia.
Green.
Octavia Green.
We had, there was a whole lot of names. And then Agatha Green.
Agatha Green. Oh, that's cool. Yep.
That's cool. But there was already Agatha with the one with the parrot.
Yep.
And then Beatrice, because we needed green to rhyme with Playdate Queen.
Of course.
So we were stuck to green. And then we
have to
thought,
have
no,
a
an
title that
alliteration's good. An alliteration's good.
Yes.
So that's how we got Ginger Green.
Ginger. Well,
And
let's,
actually, my publisher Hillary named Ginger.
did she?
She rang up. She goes,
I've
"I've
got
just
it.
been thinking
She's
it's
been
got to
eating
be
some ginger
It's
toast?
got to be Ginger Green."
Okay.
She's probably been doing a curry.
I'm going to try this.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Please
Thank you.
join me.
Yeah.
I
Cheers.
haven't tried. Yes, cheers, some toast. Why not? Some ginger jam.
Oh, it's really yummy.
It's actually not too
Oh,
bad.
it's good.
I can understand why you've got a whole series, you know, in homage to
Thank you.
ginger. Well, I might not have it all just now. Okay, so Ginger Green is for the old, slightly older. Like you start with the Playdate Queen,
Yes.
and then you get the ones for a little bit older kids. And so there's a lot of illustrations all the way through. John Davis did all the illustrations.
And John's very clever,
Yep.
and he's been really fun to work with. He's
Yep.
in England, lives in England.
Yep. Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's been really fun. Like I just send through pictures of outfits that I think are really cute because I like the way Ginger dresses.
Yes. How would you sum up the themes behind it?
I'm particularly interested in how Ginger negotiates conflict and resolves conflict.
Yeah.
I sort of watch with my own children and the endless troubles in their lives which they feel so acutely and feel so deeply.
Yes.
And I'm sort of interested in exploring that through Ginger Green. And it's been interesting because I got invited to a School for Book Week yesterday, and they said that they're using it, one of the books in the first series, which looks at the way boys play and the way girls play, and the very sort of kids can have this really gendered nature of play, which I think is sort of slightly ridiculous, having two boys that were completely into sparkles. But and a stepdaughter who was really into, you know, ball sports and everything. So anyway, I just I like to sort of look at some of those things and explore them through the stories, and hopefully it's not didactic. I mean, and I wanted to use a bit of humour, like it would make it
Oh, it's
sort of
very
fun.
funny. Yeah, there's a lot of gags all the way through. It's great.
Well, it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always the. I don't know if anyone else ever laughs at my books, but I do really.
No,
I really enjoy.
My daughter and I were laughing
were
a
you
lot at
laughing?
the unluckiest camp. Yeah, that was great. Yes.
As long as I laugh, I think someone else might laugh.
Well, that's half the battle. So what's next for Kim Kane?
So I'm working on a novel. So I just am taking a break.
Children's novel?
A children's novel.
Lovely.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm taking a little break from Ginger just for a few months, and I've been working on a novel, a sort of middle grade novel.
Can you say much about it, or is it all hush-hush at the moment?
No, it's not particularly hush-hush. It does have identical twin boys in it. My boys are fraternal.
Do they sing?
The twin boys in this novel do not sing.
They don't.
No.
So we're not going to see them in Les Mis anytime soon?
No. But we are drawing on sort of a lot of the sort of silly conversation and stuff that happens in their classroom. And I love the sort of tale of the fourth grade nothing. All of those American books that I think came out in the 80s that did such a good job, I think, of representing children in their home and school domain, Paula Danziger and Francine Pascal. And I wanted to do something Australian that explored things that I was interested in. I did my first novel, that sort of had quite a complicated plot. And my last novel had a very complicated plot. And I feel like now I just want to sort of do something not so complicated.
Yeah, fair enough. Mix it up a bit.
Mix it up a bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, great. And you're never going to go back to being a lawyer by the sounds of it?
Well, I don't think the law would want me. I just think you lose skills. And to be a lawyer, you need to think in a very particular type of way. I always see editors, and I think that they would make very good
Editors
lawyers.
would make good lawyers.
Yeah, because you need to think in a very logical and structured way. And for me, that was always a two-step process. So the flighty response and then bringing that back into structure. And you train yourself, you learn the way to think. But I have a son who is just like a natural black letter lawyer and has been since he was, an infant. And I can see, as my husband is, and I just think you can see that you're really better taking your own skill set and doing something with that. Yeah.
Like I hope that there was an ambulance there.
Yeah.
I
No,
hope
that was a
everything-
fire.
Is it a fire?
It's the
I hope
cladding.
everything's all right.
The cladding burning.
Yeah, more cladding in Melbourne burning.
Yeah.
Okay, terrific. Well, we might have to get the cladding people to get you as a lawyer at some stage if they can get you back into the industry. Maybe not. But thank you very much for having a chat, and thank you for sharing this
I'm
ginger
delighted
toast
with the
me.
toast.
And as we said before, the latest stuff from Kim Kane is, of course, ginger green, total chaos, hitting shelves any minute, and of course we've got this wonderful one, The Unluckiest Camp Ever, which is already out. So check it out if it sounds like your sort of thing. And Kim, please enjoy the Billy Bean Brown baked beans, which Sally is thrilled to have passed that on to you.
Wouldn't it be fun if the baked bean companies actually did pick up a different children's book and kind of
Would be interesting.
promote
wouldn't
them?
it? Yeah, maybe they will. Off
We
the back
could do
of
with
this.
that, that's right.
All right, thanks
like
for being
that
our
idea.
first ever author on the Kidlet Club.
My great pleasure. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Let's enjoy some toast.
Well, that was Kim Kane, and thank you very much, Kim, for joining us. And make sure you check out Ginger Green. It's a ripper series.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun, and there's ginger green for littlies and ginger green
green
for slightly
for
older
oldies.
kids. Yeah, oldies. Yeah, like us.
Yeah.
We love ginger green.
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end, Sal.
I know, first one.
Yeah.
Kind of sad to say goodbye, Adrian, until the next time.
It is, but we'll see each other again, and we'll see you all again. Of course, if you want to get in contact with us, just send us a message, leave a comment. What's the sort of stuff that we would be happy to hear about, Sal?
Yeah, look, we'd love to hear from you, because this is really all about delving into the children's book community. So you might want to know more about behind the scenes, or you might want to hear from a particular author or illustrator. We're open to everything. It's very organic.
Absolutely.
It's evolving.
We want suggestions.
Yeah, and I think, this is something that we're really going to enjoy. So let us know what you'd enjoy to know too.
Absolutely. And if you actually enjoy audio more so than video, this is also available as a podcast to go. So go to all the usual spots to find that.
Yep.
Cool. All right. That's the end of Ep 1. How exciting.
Very exciting.
Bring on Ep 2.
We did it.
See you later.
Bye.